I'm not the only kid who grew up this way, surrounded by people who used to say that rhyme about sticks and stones, as if broken bones hurt more than the names we got called, and we got called them all. So we grew up believing no one would ever fall in love with us. We'd be alone forever, that we'd never meet someone to make us feel like the sun was something they built for us in their tool shed. So broken heartstrings bled the blues. As we tried to empty ourselves, we would feel nothing. Don't tell me that hurts less than a broken bone. Than an ingrown life that is something surgeons can cut away. There is no way for it to metastasize. It does. She was 8 years old, our first day of grade 3, when she got called ugly. We both got moved to the back of the class. We would stop getting bombarded by spitballs. But the school halls were a battleground, where we found ourselves outnumbered day after wretched day. We used to stay inside for recess because outside was worse. Outside we'd have to rehearse, running away, or learn to stay still like statues, giving no clue that we were there. In grade 5 they taped a sign to her desk that read, "Beware of the dog." To this day, despite a loving husband, she doesn't think she's beautiful, because of a birthmark that takes up a little less than half of her face. Kids used to say she looked like a wrong answer that someone tried to erase but couldn't quite get the job done. And they'll never understand that she's raising 2 kids whose definition of beauty begins with the word mum, because they see her heart before they see her skin. That she's only ever always been amazing. He was a broken branch grafted onto a different family tree, adopted, but not because his parents opted for a different destiny. He was free when he became a mixed drink, with 1 part left alone and 2 parts tragedy. Started therapy in 8th grade, had a personality made up of tests and pills, lived like the uphills were mountains and the downhills were cliffs, 4/5 suicidal, a tidal wave of antidepressants, and an adolescence of being called Popper. 1 part because of the pills, and 99 parts because of the cruelty. He tried to kill himself in grade 10, when a kid who still had his mum and dad had the audacity to tell him, "Get over it," as if depression is something that could be remedied by any of the content found in the first aid kit. To this day, he is a stick of dynamite lit from both ends, could describe to you in detail the way the sky bends in the moment before it's about to fall, and despite an army of friends who all call him an inspiration, he remains a conversation piece between people who can't understand. Sometimes being drug-free has less to do with addiction and more to do with sanity. We weren't the only kids who grew up this way. To this day, kids are still being called names. Seems like each school has an arsenal of names getting updated every year, and if a kid breaks in a school and no one around chooses to hear, do they make a sound? Are they just the background noise of a soundtrack stuck on repeat when people say things like kids can be cruel? Every school was a big top circus tent, and the pecking order went from acrobats to lion tamers, from clowns to carnies. All of these were miles ahead of who we were. We were freaks, lobster claw boys and bearded ladies, oddities juggling depression and loneliness, playing solitaire, spin the bottle, trying to kiss the wounded parts of ourselves and heal. But at night, or upper slept, we kept walking a tightrope. It was a practice, and yeah, some of us fell. But I wanted to tell them that all of this is just debris, left over when we finally decide to smash all the things we thought we used to be. And if you can't see anything beautiful about yourself, get a better mirror, look a little closer, stay a little longer, because there's something inside you that made you keep trying, despite everyone who told you to quit. You built a cast around your broken heart and signed it yourself. You signed it. They were wrong, because maybe you didn't belong to a group or a clique. Maybe they decided to pick you last for basketball or everything. Maybe you used to bring bruises and broken teeth to show and tell, but never told, because how can you hold your ground if someone around you wants to bury you beneath it? You have to believe that they were wrong. They have to be wrong. Why else would we still be here? We grow up learning to cheer on the underdog because we see ourselves in them. We stem from a root planted in the belief that we are not what we were called, and we are not abandoned cars stalled out and sitting on an empty highway. And if in some ways we are, don't worry. We only got out to walk and get gas. We are the graduating members from the class of We Made It, not the faded echoes of voices crying out, "Names will never hurt." Of course they did. But our lives will only ever, always continue to be a balancing act that has less to do with pain and more to do with beauty.